Hello and welcome to the final edition of the 2019 season of, we still don't have a name, and we won't, because this is the last show of the season. Because
Are you really not going to make an effort on the last one?
I can't even look at you. You lost, man. Oceanside made it all the way to Barnwell to the semifinals, and you lose. What the heck?
Wait a minute. Hold on. I thought this was like supposed to be one of those shows where like you're a pro team and you coming at me like right out the gate.
What?
You don't have a name. You go tell me I lost. That's how we start this.
What happened?
We lost.
How could we lose?
I didn't prepare our kids very well.
Oh, come on. We all know better than that.
Oh, now you're Mr. Supporter. oh, buddy, you did fine.
Oh, it's all good and fun. Yeah. We are broadcasting this final Chad Grier show from Everyday Gourmet in Mount Pleasant, right off of Coleman Boulevard, across from the Harris Teeter. And Everyday Gourmet is one of the sponsors of the Oceanside, and we wanted to use this opportunity on the last Chad Grier show of the season to thank Tricia Hitopoulos. Tricia, come say hello. Tricia has prepared just about every one of the pregame meals.
Delicious.
Thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure, our pleasure.
Pasta and chicken. She knows to do every possible variation of pasta and chicken because a certain head coach insists on one thing and one thing only, pasta and chicken for the pregame meals. So thank you.
No rice.
And she's also going to be doing the banquet, and the year-end banquet's going to be when?
The 18th, December 18th, 6 p.m.
So
for you, 7:30.
So the team, of course, is invited. I think you have to get your tickets in advance, right? That's what I'm told. Coach doesn't even know, but you do. So check with your mamas because they know.
Mamas know.
So anyway, Coach, just kidding around. I know you're disappointed, as we all are, for Land Shark Nation, but you know there's so much to be proud of this year. The Land Sharks came farther than any charter school has ever come in the playoffs. The final low country team alive in the playoffs, and you played Barnwell toe-to-toe, and a lot to be proud of.
Ton to be proud of. Can't tell you I'm all the way over it. The look on those seniors' faces, I mean, it was tough. The emotion was raw, and it was very real, and knew it meant something to the kids when you put and invest as much as they did, time and effort. You know it mattered, and it was tough Friday night to know that's the last time to be with those guys. I think that was the thing. It's, I would love to have a trophy in the case, but it's not about the trophy. It's really about, I really wanted one more week with those guys. I really wasn't prepared to be done with that senior group and what they've meant to the school. Really, they're pioneers in the school. They were there from day one, a lot of those guys, and took a chance on Oceanside, took a chance on football. Frankly, after the first year a lot of those guys endured, they took a chance on me to come back, and forever I'll be grateful to those guys. And like I said, it's still really hasn't sunk in yet that we're going to start working out next week, and some of those guys aren't going to be in there, which they've been there for everything I've ever done at Oceanside. So it's very proud of them, but tough to have it end.
Hard to believe some of those guys are going to be gone. 11 seniors have been here since the school started in McClellanville 4 years ago, and boy, have they seen a lot in those 4 years. So they have that, and they'll always have that.
Yeah, and all key contributors. I mean, they're just for those kids to have come from that beginning to how they finished. Man, I just can't say enough about them and what they've shown in terms of really what we're about, hard work. I mean, they just it wasn't every one of those guys, I believe, maximized what God gave them. And they didn't leave a rock unturned. I mean, they got after it and got better, and our team got better as a result.
Well, thank you, seniors. The entire fan base and the school and administration, and I know the coaching staff deeply appreciates everything you've given to this program. Let's talk a little bit about the Barnwell game. What do you think were the keys to the loss?
I mean, first and foremost is the turnovers. The two turnovers really were the difference in the game. I mean, it's they 7 points as a result of one, the other one down to one. They both resulted in touchdowns, and you take those 14 points off the board, and it's 31-28, and it's two more possessions for the good guys. So, but that's typical of any time you play at a high level, especially deep in the playoffs. I mean, the turnover margin matters a lot. And we did a tremendous job taking care of the football this year. I think Sean's TD to interception ratio was incredible. Keegan, for as many touches he had, never fumbled once.
Amazing.
We did a great job taking care of the ball. Unfortunately, we had a couple plays that didn't work out for us in the turnover department, and we weren't able to get any back. And it's really important that when you do turn it over, that you're able to respond and find a way to create additional possessions by getting it back. And just didn't happen. Wasn't that we played extremely poorly by any means. That was a very good team, very well coached, and give kids credit. They made plays. I mean, we made some plays. We had some opportunities that we missed, and the better team won that night, as much as I hate to say it.
And Barnwell, what a great atmosphere for high school football at that stadium.
Awesome. I loved everything about it. And Coach Grier was first class from the time we were. I didn't know who he was. We ended up just kind of standing next to each other pregame, about an hour and a half before the game, and struck up a conversation. His son actually coaches at Presbyterian, has recruited our school. He's one of my actually favorite young coaches that comes through the school. I see where he gets it. His dad's first class, and he had coached there 20 years ago under a different regime. He's been all over the state. He does a great job with those kids. Those kids have brought into the weight room. You could see that on Friday night. They weren't just big; they were strong. They were developed. They've trained hard for several years in there, and man, they were a good football team. But the environment was exceptional. I mean, they were, I don't know what, 8-10 deep, certainly over there by the concession stand
it was
around.
Packed. The place was packed.
Stands were full. It was just the band was great. Everything about it, I thought, was what Friday Night Lights. I just love the fact our kids got a chance to play. And I would love to create that somehow for us in a home environment, week in, week out. But just to get a taste of it for our kids was awesome.
I mean, Barnwell is a town of about 4,300 people or so. It's a very small town.
About 4,300.
Unfortunately, I
No,
can't.
You can't say about 4,300. Have you seen census data on that? Is that how you know it's 4,300? About 4,300?
Well, it's not exactly 40, maybe 4,353.
I think about 4,200 games right now.
Babies are born, people are dying, even as we're speaking. So the numbers change, and I like to be exact, as you know. Yeah. At any rate, it's a small town, and the stands were packed.
When you do your cases, do you round up or down? Do you just say, let's call it 10 grand? I mean, how do you do? Yeah, it's good enough.
It depends on.
Let's say we had it's about 10 billable hours. I don't know, give or take.
No, those are exact. Other times though, maybe it's okay to round up. But the point is, those fans in Barnwell, they're not the parents. I mean, they're the people in the community who are out there supporting that school. And because if it was just the parents, it would have been nobody in those stands. But they were completely packed.
So cool. And but look, I think we travel great. I mean,
we do.
Our fans, our parents, and supporters. I mean, and the number of people watch the broadcast. What was it? 30, almost about 3,400, I guess.
We were pushing 3,500.
It's amazing. It's amazing. We get just tremendous support. Can't thank all the folks that make the effort to come be there in person. It matters. It means a lot. We hear you. We know you're there. The kids know you're there. But it's an awesome environment.
The noise from the visiting stands caused at least 3 penalties.
Really?
Oh yeah, there's no question. If you watch my video, which you should watch anyway, probably, you'll see and hear that they had delay of game penalties at least 3 different times, or offsides, or not offsides, but false starts, and because of the noise from our fans.
Who told you?
I saw it with my own eyes.
Our fans were awesome. It was great. Had some good noisemakers. And
it was the noisemakers, and I think who you can thank for that? Brian Powell.
That guy.
Whoa, Nelly.
Did he go Whoa Nelly? Did he go Keith Jackson?
I don't think he actually did in that broadcast. He didn't sing Turn Out the Lights either, but that day's coming.
That was in wrestling days? Who should sing that?
I don't.
Johnny Weaver.
I don't know who he is either.
Johnny Weaver put you in a sleeper hold, and he'd sing Turn Out the Lights, the talk is over.
That's great.
Yeah.
I like that.
My singing voice, or the fact that I said that?
Definitely the fact that you said that, and not the singing voice. Although who knows what next season may hold? Coach Grier may
be called the songbird of my
sing
generation.
The school alma mater, or do we have one?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
You missed my Step Brothers quote. You probably don't watch that movie either. The kids, if the kids are watching, they'll know Step Brothers. They'll know.
What was the quote?
I've been called the songbird of my generation.
Oh, see, I'd have to listen to what you say in order to catch those
Which,
references.
yeah, clearly you don't.
Which I
Well, I do mumble, of course.
Not today. You're doing good. All right, so back to business. The Barnwell game.
I love how you say Barnwell, like you're local or something.
Well, I am.
Oh,
I had friends there. It was great. And even if you're going to lose to somebody, in my humble opinion, that's the team to lose to because that's a cool team. And they're playing Saluda. We're actually recording this during the Barnwell Saluda game, and it looks like Saluda's really putting it to them. At halftime is 26-7, or something like that.
That's it.
All right, Coach. Let's talk about the future. Unless there's anything else you want to dwell on about that final loss, the only loss of the season. All right, let's talk about.
Number 3 was really good for them.
He was Deshaun Watson. Man, he's the middle linebacker for those guys. He was all
And a
over
really,
the field.
really nice kid. He's a kid I want to watch and see what happens to. The coach was telling me before the game that he's been kind of acclimated into a local family that's a farmer, and the kid drives a great big jacked up pickup truck and loves to farm and may end up foregoing football to be a farmer. But he was a really pleasant kid after the game, and I will say too, their quarterback I thought did a great job. And
Pender,
and he was a nice kid, man. Before the game, we do our walk, and usually, we get there so early, nobody's around. They actually had a punter and then their quarterback Craig was on the field, and man, I was like, this is, I don't want to be we're going to do our walk, and so I was trying to make sure those guys weren't trying to be intimidating or do anything, unsportsmanlike with them. They were so gracious and nice, and ended up talking to the kid for a minute, and really wish him the best. He's a very talented player. He made some plays with his feet and with his arm. He was a good player.
And the guy we were really worried about, at least I was Chisholm number 2, but T.J. Miller number 1 kind of stole the show for them in terms of receiver and mostly from receiving.
Yeah, I don't want to take anything away from 2. He clearly had the yardage all year, made a lot of plays for them, but we frankly were a little more concerned with 1 and 5 going into the game. And I thought defensively when they came out in the wishbone to start the game, I really took that as a sign of respect. That they were trying to, and they were working the play clock a little bit and really trying to keep us off the field. And the fact that we got off the field, I thought was tremendous. You watch them on film and they get in the wishbone, they just bang, 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 and go and kind of hot knife through butter. And the fact that we got in the punt, just really unfortunate. We had the bad snap and then the strip sack in the end zone, and I
back to back.
We kept fighting. We kept fighting, and we gave ourselves a chance, and that is what I think our kids are all about. Is that we've been down before and never felt like we were out of it. Came out in the third quarter with probably the longest drive I've ever been a part of.
Took almost the whole quarter.
9.5 minutes, 21 plays, 83 yards. Mix it up. That's a long time to be on the field. Ended it with a touchdown. Got it off the field again, and just a 4-point game. We got momentum, crowds into it, and then we had the other turnover. And that's just football is momentum, and football is a real thing. It's actually almost tangible. You really know when it's happening, and we had it. And I think that's the thing we'll take from this is just how critical it is, ball security. But again, all year our kids did a great job with that, and I think that's just something we'll remind ourselves about in the off season. Just consistently, we just got to take care of the ball, and we got to go get after it on defense.
So as long as we're talking about the game still, even though I really like to talk about the future soon, Keegan, got under 50 yards on the game. That's his worst outing of the season by far.
I'm actually glad you brought that up because I think of all the things that Keegan's done, have just been exceptional. I've tried to tell people, Charlotte was on campus today, and we're talking about Keegan, and try to explain to them it's more than what you see on film. What just a cool, special, first-class young man he is, and we got in the game on the sideline, and it's hard to get him untracked. They're doing a really good job up front. We had a really hard time blocking number 3. Yeah. We had a couple blown assignments, characteristic, but just we can't make mistakes like that up front against a really good team. It's probably the first time all year I felt like we were neutralized up front, or they may have been a little better. They were really good.
They penetrated. I mean, they met Keegan in the backfield as soon as he took the handoff.
They did a great job.
A number of times.
But instead of being frustrated, and I said to Keegan, "Hey, look, man, we're going to keep poking around. We're going to find something to get you untracked and get you going." And he said, "Coach, I need to block for Sean. That's what's working. I need to block for Sean." It was not about him getting touches or carries or yards. It was about how do we find a way to win the game. And I thought that was I was like, you're right. And if you watch your own broadcast, you go back and see a couple of times we got passes off because Keegan was able to pick up a blitzer or pick up really a guy that we maybe missed up front. And he just very, very selflessly put his body in the path of that stuff so we get a pass off. And just speaks volumes about what kind of young man he is.
Yep. And Sean looked a little nervous maybe in the first half, but in the second half he, especially in the fourth quarter, he ran, which was kind of uncharacteristic, improvised.
I don't think he was nervous. I think the only time I ever really thought that about Sean was Timberland a year ago. And I think that was part of the process of his maturation and growing up as a quarterback. And I thought he did a good job. And look, that's I don't really think he was nervous. I mean, the strip sack, he did the snap, nobody could have got. And he's done an incredible job at 6'5", and all the things we ask him to process and do before play. Managing snaps are kind of all over the place a little bit this year. I'm not hating on our centers, but just the fact is you didn't notice it was a problem because how many balls he saved. That one he just couldn't save and put us back. And then we had a receiver, we had a look that we just put in late in the week, frankly, and that's the danger of doing that. But the guy was coming really open. I think we'd have had a big hit off of that, and instead the three makes a great play. He gets a strip sack of coverage for his touchdown. But I don't put either one of those on Sean. The pick in the second half, I think he'd like to have it back. I think he was trying to make a play. It wasn't like it was just he was wide-eyed. He just was trying to make a play and made a bad decision, and their kid made a play. But I thought he competed, and he gave us a chance. He wasn't able to throw the ball. As typical, third down, fourth down, he makes clutch throws. Yeah. Joel Osteen just did what Joel always does, third and fourth down, gets open. Walker Root, we just never talk about enough. I mean, the guy's got 1,000 yards receiving on the year. A lot, people look at him and go, hey, man, he's a killer. I mean, his reputation through the playoffs. I was hearing other coaches talk about number 3 and just how good of a player he is. And he stepped up about 154 yards, I think, receiving in the game. So a lot of good things happened, and Sean certainly was part of all that.
All right. Next week, the players start lifting weights, getting ready for next season. So tell us, what does the off season look like for the Oceanside football team? Or was that last week?
The off season's over. That was
last week. Okay. So what is the next phase of preparation for 2020 look like?
Just back to laying bricks, man. Back to the rock pile. We don't promise it to be easy. We want it to be worth it, and I think that's what I heard from our seniors this year over and over. I heard Grace Opal say it on TV. I heard her in our senior little speeches at the end of the season. Guys talking about, there are times, man, it's not fun. I mean, all the running, all the training, all the conditioning, but man, you look back on it, it was worth it. And I've seen kids grow up into young men, and I've seen the impact off the field as well as on the field. Not just becoming a better football team and better players, but just better young men. And I think that that's not lost on us as coaches. We have to push them and create that culture that they learn to depend on each other and to be depended on, to be held accountable, to be disciplined, and to do what it takes to be great. And I think God created the boys perfectly in His image to be great and do great things. And I view my job and our coach's job as just a tool or resource and God's quiver to help pull that out of the boys and let them find it themselves. And I think we've done a pretty good job of it.
So, as we move forward, are there any particular bright spots you're looking at in terms of personnel, coaching, culture, heading into the next season? You think next year's team has a chance to be as good as this year's team?
Yeah, every team, in high school, you start over every year. I mean, obviously the more parts you have coming back, the more continuity you have. And one of the things that we've been very blessed with is staff continuity and having our coaches. This was by far the best and easiest year as a staff. Our coaches know our schemes. They know they know our rhythms and routines. They knew the boys, so that was a huge head start for us. Found out today Chase Adam, young staff guy, but really added a ton of value this year. He's going to go to Florida and work on finishing his 4-year degree down in Florida. So we'll lose Chase. He'll leave in about April. But And look, every year I tell our coach, we got a lot of young coaches that came to Oceanside to be part of this, but I know they aspire to do more than just be on our staff. Selfishly, I want to keep them all forever, but I've told those guys that if I could ever help them achieve their goal of being a head coach or getting a better opportunity, I'm certainly going to help them do that. So this is kind of that time of year you figure that out. And over the next couple of months, we'll see. But as of right now, our staff's coming back. That's huge. I think we'll be good up front. We got a lot of big guys coming back. Our sophomore class in particular is pretty special all the way around. Our junior class is thin. Talked to some of those guys this week about how important it is that they realize it's their team. And
That's right.
Year in, year out, we talked about this in our staff meeting this week, is that your leaders or best players might be in 9th grade or 10th grade or 11th grade, but the seniors in the locker room matter. And your senior class typically is going to take you. You'll go as far as they take you. And I think Mickey Lee, we're going to count on to be an anchor up front. If we look at Fletch and the Twins and John Michael and some of those guys, the receivers, Lamar, we're going to count on to step up. And just it's not a big class, but there's a lot of good kids in that class that have been around us. I think are going to give us a chance to be really good again. And then sophomores are going to have to play big as juniors, and then our freshmen are going to have to play big as sophomores. But I think the future is very, very bright, and we're excited to see how hard they work in this off season, because that's what's going to dictate, really how good we are is what they put into it in the off season.
In all likelihood, you're not going to be in Conference 6AA again. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, we're supposed to find out. We're supposed to find out already. It's kind of being pushed back. I've heard all kind of things. I've heard that 500 is kind of the cutoff, and that we'll be just above it on the ADM, which is ADM stands for Average Daily Membership, and you turn those in after 45 days of school. We were at 514, I believe, and so there was one rumor going around that 500 would be 2A above, 500 is 3A. Then the decision came out from the state that they're going to divide the classes by number of schools. They're going to increase 5A and 1A. So doing back of the envelope math, which I know you love to do.
That's all I do.
There's probably about 18 schools that would be pushed down from 2A to 1A to expand that class, which that then could change and keep us in 2A. So I've also heard that our region likely then would lose North Charleston and Burke to 1A, which means our region would have to be reshaped. And I've heard different things about that if we stayed in 2A, our region could be Timberland, Woodland, Bishop England may come down, Philip Simmons still, possibly Academic Magnet. So the answer to the long answer to say I don't know, and we might be 3A. So who knows?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, and
we'll find out.
And you don't know when we're going to know?
We're supposed to get an idea next week, but now we're hearing that it could be even the following. And officially we'll know in January. January 22nd we have the class meetings in Columbia, and then there'll be appeals. If somebody's got a hardship case after that. But by mid-January we should know. Kind of hard right now because we don't have a schedule, and our region schedule was set 5 games, 4 games, 6 games. We don't know, and then our non-region games we're trying to figure out. What's the who we could go play. Bob Hayes and Jimmy Noonan, we love to play Wando. If you're watching, I'm sure you are. We'd love to play you guys.
And Philip Simmons, we're looking forward to playing you too.
Definitely play those guys. But we'll play, honestly, not saying tongue in cheek, we would love to play Wando. We would love to play BE. We'd love to play Somerville. We'd love to play.
Well, is there a reason why we don't play Wando?
I'm gonna send him an email and ask them. But if they agree, then we'll play them. If they don't,
That would be a great game. I know
awesome.
all the local fans would enjoy it.
It'd be great for our community. I
It
think.
would. It really would be.
So I'd love for them to do it, but I'm certainly going to reach out and make the offer. We'll see what happens, but I'm not going to hold my breath based on other stuff.
Well, certainly a lot of our kids have great friends that they've been growing up through the school system with at Wando, and they love the chance to play them.
I think the kids would love it, but like unfortunately a lot of things in high school sports, adults tend to get away in the way of things that should be about kids. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, you never know. Maybe something will change.
All right, Coach. You've already gotten your wrestling reference in.
It was a good one too, right?
It was
Johnny Weaver.
Johnny Weaver, and
he wore little red trunks. I bet you have some wrestling trunks, little tights.
Okay. not. Of course, every time we move, this table moves and the camera moves. So this has probably been quite an
He's
adventure
just saying that because he's been
for
drinking.
everybody.
And so, kids, that's to be a lesson to you.
And that's
Just
a good,
say no.
Everyday Gourmet. They do have a good selection of wines and beers too. So we've been maybe sampling a couple of those, or at least I have. I'm not a football coach.
We're I'm taking dinner home too, by the way.
And I'm smelling
It's
some
great.
good food in here, so I urge everybody to come by and visit with Tricia and let her fix dinner for you, because she does great stuff.
Good stuff. So
All
this
right.
is it, really?
This is
I,
it.
I hate to say this. I'm going to miss this, and I don't even know if I said it over Thanksgiving. I can't remember, but I do appreciate you doing this. I think it's been a huge add to our program. I know that I've got family and friends at home in Charlotte that watch this. I've heard from so many people that how much they've enjoyed watching, how good a job you and Brian do. I know this is your own expense, your own time, and it's been a lot of fun and a big added to our approach. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome.
In all sincerity, thank you. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome, and we want to make it better and better as we go. We're looking forward to doing it again next year, and also, I want to thank Richie Altman for joining us at the Barnwell game. It was nice to have him pregame and halftime, and also
Great proponent of high
Will
school
Porter,
sports.
who joined us on the broadcast. And by the way, I talked to Alex Dabliwala.
Thank you for doing it. His parents are going to appreciate you. They watch the show and
Well,
appreciate you getting it right.
his dad should be a diplomat, because he had the
Great
kindest way of
Oh.
pulling me aside and telling me how to pronounce his name.
He's got it. He's got eight kids.
I know.
What a great family. Just
Yeah,
nice
they are.
people, quality people. Both those boys are smart as a whip. I mean, just.
So I
really-
talked to Alex, and we're going to work on getting him involved and maybe creating a club at the school to do some
Oh, that'd be great.
live stream broadcasting of other
Good.
sports. I'll let them do it. I'll just give them the equipment. So
That'd be awesome.
That'll
They
be
do a great
something
job
else.
with it. They're great.
Yeah.
One of the many great families we have, but they certainly are great people.
Oceanside Collegiate Academy. It's a great place to go to school.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Coach. Congratulations on a
Appreciate
great
it.
season,
Thank
and
you.
good luck next
Thank you.
season.
We'll do it. Thanks.